Hi pals, it's Artie, they them pronouns only, and I have not had enough sleep. I got back from my holiday last night, probably got home at like 1 in the morning, and like I basically gave myself that week off of doing pretty much anything that I usually do, minus editing my video, to be honest. I needed that break for many reasons, from many things. One of those things is all of the medical admin and just medical appointments that I have coming up and have been having recently generally. Oh, so I just kind of wanted to do a small update video just on like what has been happening and is going to continue happening for a while, because it's just, there's just a lot, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. So yeah, that week away, I was like, no medical appointments, no medical admin, I'm not chasing anybody, I'm not doing phone calls. I did have to do 2 phone calls, but like really like short, quick ones, because one of them was pain management, were like texting me about booking an appointment. So I was like, okay, I need to ring them to say I will book one next week. please don't discharge me. And then the other one, I got rung by a separate like department for physio, and I was like, I can't book that in right now, but I will definitely do it in the week. And they were like, okay, we'll call you Monday. So they have done, and that's all been sorted. But basically I've been like, don't know what it is about autumn, but it seems like everybody's waiting lists have openings now, and I'm like, I'm in a very divided mindset of like,
please leave me alone, and actually don't leave me alone, I've been waiting for these appointments for a while.
So I thought I'd tell you what I have, like which appointments I've been to already. Also like the usual, hello, ADHD, absolute fucking mess. This is actually super tidy. All the stuff is in like 2 boxes at the moment, and most of the side is completely clear. That's because I was going away and I was like, let's just leave the space a little bit clearer. Yeah, so before I went away, I had 2 really like abrupt appointments. One of them was for podiatry. So I'm going to do a little bit of talking about feet. In case you don't like feet, you might prefer to go elsewhere, but if you have EDS, you might want to listen. A little while ago, I went to my GP about my nails. Basically, it's the same with my hands as well, but it's a bit more of an issue with my feet because of shoes or stubbing my toe, etc, etc. But I basically have really curved nails that dig in quite a lot and can cause minor infections. They get really inflamed, they're really sore and painful. A few times I've had to go to like a private chiropodist to get them like really professionally cut down to then let them regrow out and all that sort of shit. Super fun. So yes, I went to a podiatrist, again on the NHS, specifically about my toenails, to talk about the options and all of my complex needs as a patient. The lady I spoke to on the phone who booked me in had a kind of a different opinion to the lady I actually ended up speaking to in the appointment, and that's fine. I expected as much, because the lady I saw in an actual appointment, she is basically like, she does this surgery all the time. She does toenail surgery all the time. She's kind of like one of the best people to go to speak about this thing, especially if you have complicated health issues, etc. But the lady on the phone was like, oh yeah, well sometimes it's better to weigh up whether possibly a one-off risk of infection because of surgery may be better than a continued risk of infection through your life because of the issues you're having. Both of them were very nice. The podiatrist I saw also offered to put on a mask because she saw I was wearing a mask, which was very nice. Very rare for a medical professional to ask me if I would like them to wear a mask. Basically, we came out of it with like, there's not like a current severe need for me to get any surgery done. We're sort of at a point where it's like not as bad as it used to be, but it is still painful and bothering me and still a problem like semi-regularly. But because of the current diagnosis of hypermobility syndrome, which I believe is a type of EDS, there's a few issues with that. Slow healing or just generally with that, either any of those diagnoses, as well as you metabolize numbing injections and things like that differently, and anesthesia, things like that. It's not really understood why, but it's sort of like a known, well, I say it's like a known thing. It's known to some people, but the possibility of needing more of those numbing injections just to get the same thing done, whereas other people would only need the 2 injections, when those injections are also painful and may not even work. I could compare this as well because my gran has had a lot of dental work and she often needs so many of these injections to not feel it. I have a lot of her traits when it comes to illness. I think I would probably have a similar experience. Oh my god, ow. I've literally been here for 2.5 seconds. Please chill. I have brought up nail bracing. There's not a lot out there about it. It's not something that's taught to podiatrists on the NHS. So yeah, after this appointment, I mentioned it to her as well, and she was like, well, the only thing I would recommend is that you make sure it's actually done by a medical professional and not like a beautician. So that is something that's also now on my list. Is I've got 3 possible clinics I think are all in like or around like London. I want to look into it more, maybe ask some more questions and possibly trial that. So of course, when that happens, I'll be sharing plenty of details, maybe not photos. We'll see. No feet for free. But I feel like it might be useful for people because like the options for nail problems, like there's nothing to fix anything with your like fingernails. I have not heard of anything that you can do for that, and luckily they're not as bad as my toes. But the options for toenails are annoying at home things that don't really work and take a lot of energy, or surgery, and that's literally kind of it. So I think it may be helpful if I document it or talk about it if I do go down that route. But yeah, unfortunately it seems to be very much private healthcare. It doesn't seem too expensive, but it's kind of expensive when you also have to keep traveling there, and the travel can be expensive. Then the other call I had before this, actually no, I had 2 calls before this. So the other call I had was another pain management. I decided I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to give it another shot because this pain nurse, for one, generally seemed a lot more open about what's available under the pain management service that nobody else has ever really like told me. So the plan is to hopefully see an OT, because I've never seen a general sort of OT or a pain OT. The only OT I've seen is like a hand and hypermobile hand specialist. I would like to see somebody who could possibly give more information about yeah, adaptions, bracing, or whatever that they think may benefit me specifically. And then also generally speaking to a nurse to talk about, like, do a medication review. I did say, like, I've spoken to the psychologists on the team before. I don't feel like I'll learn anything more from seeing the psychologist. I don't think I'll learn anything more going through their like course thing either, because that's what the psychologist tried to go through with me, because I couldn't attend their courses back when I was like initially doing this. So yeah, I have some questions about medication options as well. They did mention that they have pain doctors who do injections, and I think I made the assumption that the injections were only steroids, but I think when I have my appointment with this nurse I may ask some more questions about that specifically, because like whilst yeah I do have fibromyalgia and I've got pain sort of like everywhere generally, and same with the hypermobility, I do have some specific spots of like more, you know, like are worse. There are certain spots that are worse and harder to get on top of and are more aggravated most of the time. I would like to know if there are other options for that. The other call I had that I forgot about was sort of like a preliminary like mental health assessment. I've been trying to access a certain service in the area. As usual, thanks to the annoyingness of the NHS file system, They don't have a certain diagnosis on their system because I was diagnosed when I was at university in London. So I have to try and find some of those things for them anyway, but they did sort of like a general discussion of things with me, and then I will be having a full-on mental health assessment of like an hour and a half. I was like, is that necessary? I just wanted to use this service because nobody has ever told me this service existed and I have a diagnosis. And I'd like to just access that service to get some specific support on this one particular thing. No, okay, I guess I'll have to do this then. But the lady sort of phrased it that it would be like a general well-being assessment as well. So they may possibly have other ideas that might be useful or helpful for support needs. They could also see that I'm on the waiting list for an autism assessment. So who knows? No idea what's happening. Also, unfortunately, it's like a half-hour drive away and the drive up there is horrible. So I'm going to turn up already unhinged. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I've written everything down because there's so many that I keep forgetting. Hello? I literally just leaned on you. Please shut the fuck up. I also have a separate physio, which is what the people who called me when I was away. There was a note that I should be seen by a senior physio, which is interesting. Again, I saw a physio recently. I've seen a million physios. I said to the pain management team, which is separate to this, that I don't really want to see their physios again because they can't really provide anything that's useful. But you know, I have some questions for both the pain management as well as this specific physio, which are kind of connected. I'd really like to see if I can possibly access some kind of hydrotherapy again, because I did have that before I moved back home, but the lady in charge was fat phobic and really rude to me about my body whilst I was in a swimming costume. So that really made me feel great about going to swim for my well-being, and I was much thinner than I am right now. That's a fun one. But yeah, there's this separate physio. I think this one was meant to be specifically for like the hypermobile stuff, but again, I'm probably also going to bring up vascular physio because again, there's so many things that people like say that they've had or they've heard about, but nobody ever, like in the actual services, none of the doctors or anyone in the medical teams really tells me about any of these things available. And as an autistic person, it's really difficult to tell somebody what I need when I don't know what the options are. So then I'm just like chasing people around being like, is this a thing? Is this real? Same with the fibro clinic. This poor lady in pain management was like, I've never heard of that clinic, but I will try and find out for you. I was like, sick, thanks. Like nobody knows what does or does not exist. Different people say different things, even under the same team. There was like, I think just the person who answers patient emails under the pain management team, they said it exists. But the pain management nurse doesn't know if it exists. No shade or shit to her or my GP who didn't know if or that it does exist. It's literally just a whole system issue that like people are not very good at letting you know as a patient what the options are, and you often have to come in to be like, oh okay, I've heard about this, can you tell me more about that? Is this a thing? Is that a thing? And even then, a lot of the times they're like, no, rather than I don't know, or oh, I can try to find out for you. To be fair, I think most people I've spoken to just don't know, and it's a shame. There's probably a lot of services that would be useful for a lot of people that just nobody ever tells them about. So we'll see how that goes. I have my, God, I don't even know what number this is. I've had a lot of COVID jabs. Also, in the UK, jab is not an anti-vax thing. It's just UK slang. COVID vaccination. I've got my COVID vaccination this week. The day before this video will go up. And it should be combined with the flu vaccination as well. Both of those, obviously, I'm still applicable for. I'm on 3 different immunosuppressive medications still, and generally that, as well as the people I live with, means I am eligible for the COVID and the flu vaccinations. So is my mum, her partner, both my grandparents, all of that. So that's this week. Usually there's not really a big drama for me with that. I don't know whether I should be concerned that there's not really a big drama or not, but like I don't tend to feel particularly bad after those injections, and I just tend to get like a small, like raised, vaguely allergic lump at the site of injection, whereas a lot of other people were talking about like whole painful arms, headaches, blah blah blah. So I'm like, cool, this is no problem for me, but also does that just mean that my immune system's not working? So I have that this week. As well as rheumatology, my usual rheumatology this week, which will be in the morning before this video goes up as well. Just routine stuff really. I think it'll be a check-in after all of the stuff was sort of with medications was being handled by my IBD pharmacy team to try and sort out the issues I was having with my captive urine. I think I did some videos on those, but I don't know if I ever fully updated with how that was going or what was going on with that. So far, it seems to be fine. I'm on allopurinol, which is to help me actually process that medication properly. It's taken a while, but we're slowly getting there. I'm finally within range for this specific blood test that checks the level / whether I am processing this medication properly. So hopefully I'll be back on like my previous dose of before of 25 micrograms, and then I won't have to keep getting my medications directly from the hospital because that's really annoying. But yeah, I think we're at a point where hopefully that will be good just generally, both with my Crohn's and my Takayasus, and hopefully it'll be good and benefit me coming off steroids, which I'm now like nearly at 5 micrograms every day. I've been tapering very slowly. I also have therapy this week. Fun. And then I have the chiropractor tomorrow. I have been debating whether or not I want to carry on with chiropractic? I think that's it. Yeah, I've been debating whether I want to continue with the chiropractic treatment because for the most part I feel like it's not really benefiting me as much as it was, and I feel like a more gentle approach may be more beneficial generally, especially with helping with like vagus nerve things, fight or flight, and relaxation. So I'm thinking of going more back down the route of massage therapy again. I think a lot of my pain is mostly in like my muscles at the moment rather than the actual joints. I say that as my fucking joints hurt. Ugh. Like obviously I've got issues with my joints because of hypermobility, but I feel like a lot of that impacts my muscles a lot. So yeah, that's just something that's been on my mind. So I may not book in a session after that for a while, just see how things go.
Okay, so I've been to the chiropractor since I filmed this video, and I asked to not do any neck adjustments or like clicky neck adjustments like I usually get. So he did some things a little bit differently that I feel like actually was working a lot better than what he'd been doing for a while. So I may continue down that route for a little bit and see how we go. But yeah, I feel like I would like to generally lay off the serious neck adjustments for a while.
Also the dentist. Luckily, I'm back on to only seeing him once a year. I was seeing him, I think, twice a year for a little bit because I was getting a lot of gum inflammation. I still only brush my teeth once a day, sometimes twice if you're lucky. And then also my magic mouthwash, again, I made a blog post about it a little while ago, is really, really helpful for that inflammation in my gums. So if it does get bad or like does flare up, I'll be using that mouthwash several times a day. But yeah, so that's just a checkup. I also have my usual gastro appointment, which I had to chase up and it got cancelled and I had to chase it again to get it booked in. Very annoying. I don't know if there's a specific team that I should be contacting about it instead of the IBD nurses. I did ask them and they didn't give me any details, so I guess they'll just keep getting my emails. But yeah, I think mainly with gastro, I will be talking to them about this nausea that I've been getting pretty badly for, God, months now. Yeah, I have some suspicions of what that could be, especially as like I've been doing everything possible to try and work out whether it's food, medication I'm on, flare-ups of other conditions, anxiety. Like literally, I really thought anxiety. No, it's happening even when I'm not anxious. So I have some ideas of what it is, because there's some other symptoms with it that I'm noticing more now. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. He's always very nice and it's over the phone, so at least I don't have to go anywhere. So, and he's also like, he's the hospital's like scope specialist person. I think he does research for like new scopes and teaches people, because like the hospitals around here are teaching hospitals. I think he did one of these special scopes on my gran the other year. So I feel like he's, obviously, besides it being gastro, it's obviously like a gastro issue. But besides that, I think he's like probably one of the better people to speak to anyway, because he has that like background in those scopes down like your nose or your mouth for like gastro stuff. So yeah, that's also later in the month. I've also got my advocate meeting in a couple of weeks. I might need to email her to just check in. But basically, yeah, this is to do with my application of adult social care. Issues I will not go into. My advocate is lovely. No issues with her. That's what I'll say. And then I have a specialist rheumatology appointment, sort of. Oh, this is half the problem. So yeah, I finally got an appointment with the specialist team in London for Takayasu's. It only took 2 years. 2 years? When did we make that? It might now be over 3 years, but like I basically said that the reason why we went down this route for seeing having a separate team be involved in my care with Takayasu's is because everyone wanted me to get surgery on my arm, and I did not feel comfortable with that. And from a lot of what I've researched, I mean, a little bit you can see in my last video where I'm talking about House MD's depiction of Takayasu's, is that, yeah, a lot of people's personal experiences is that surgeries that are done when you aren't flaring tend to trigger flare-ups a lot of the time, and then those surgeries fail. Not all the time, but like it seems to be really, really like quite highly common that happens. And seeing as like I have not been and am not at risk of losing my arm yet, which is the only reason currently I would get that surgery, is if I would possibly be at risk of literally losing my arm. I've decided I didn't want to go down the surgery route and would actually like to speak to the specialists in London about me generally with my Takayasu's, all the other stuff going on too, and see what they think. I also know that the guy who used to lead that team was very conservative when it came to surgeries anyway, that he didn't like to do surgeries like this on Takayasu's patients unless it was absolutely necessary. Then he died, and then I think my referral got lost, so I had to get my team to chase it again and send emails to the new head, whose email that I found myself. This is what I mean by the medical admin drives me insane, is that I shouldn't have to do that. I will, because I want the best care I could possibly get, but I shouldn't have to do that. I don't know who I blame in that situation, to be honest. I think generally, again, like I said earlier, the whole like NHS digital system is just shit. Why can't people see my files from a different location? Even moving from somewhere else in Sussex to where we live now in Sussex, my files got fucked up. It says that I had allergies to certain antibiotics in like 2006. When I had those as a baby, I was born in 94. That is not correct. And I don't know how to get that changed. It's something on my like list of not super urgent things to do, because I don't really need antibiotics anytime soon, thankfully. And so far the antibiotics I have needed have not been those. Yeah, so that's on the way, but I'm still waiting for them to tell me what is actually going to happen in this appointment. It's a specialist, like, Takayasu's clinic. So I don't know if I'll be seeing a rheumatologist, or if it'll be more like rheumatology nurses, which my gran sees a rheumatology nurse for her arthritis. I've never seen a rheumatology nurse for anything, so yeah, so I don't know what they plan to do, what they need, what might be expected of me. So far all they've said is I need to bring my letter, my appointment letter, because I need it for like logging in, checking in or something, and just a list of my medications, and that makes me nervous. So I have been emailing the booking team of that hospital to see if they can get more information sent to me. They did forward on my query, but that was like nearly a month ago now, 15th of September. Yeah, so today's the 9th and this will be up on the 12th. So like, yeah, nearly a month since they said that they forwarded that on for me. And it's just under a month when until I see them. Like I just need some like, some like specific details. Also, I don't do phone calls really at all. I really struggle with phone calls, and the times that my mum has rung this team for me, it's been difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Whoever it is who answers the phone, I have thoughts, but hopefully that's just because I don't know them well. So yeah, I've got a little list of things that I still need to book and sort out. Oh my god, I'll just throw my notepad out of my hand. Obviously, like I said, private podiatry. Need to sort that out so I can trial this nail bracing. I'm still waiting for cardiology to contact me from the last time we rang them, which was maybe a few months ago, because my NHS app has been on the fritz since my surgery has done something. All I had was this like weird notification to say that I need to chase this appointment, and they were like, oh yeah, it's a glitch. Thanks, that's really helpful. But they basically estimated that I might get an appointment in December, which it was last November when it was definitely longer ago than that. I think October last year was when I got that referral done, but it was November last year where I did the 24-hour ECG for this, so I still don't have the results of that ECG. Because I haven't spoken to anybody in cardiology. Apparently that's also a really common experience in this area at the moment. So yeah, I'm kind of waiting / expecting to have to chase that appointment if I don't hear maybe in the next couple of months. Obviously as well, I'll probably have to get another, like I have to get blood tests so fucking often. I'll probably need to get some more done soon. I was doing them sort of monthly, but then because of the Macaptopurian stuff, I was doing them sort of every 6 weeks-ish because certain tests took an extra couple of weeks to come through. You know, I would just like to, I don't want to keep getting blood tests every month. I would like that to lessen to like every 2 to 3 months again, please. I can't expect any less than that because of, I think my adalimumab injections. I'm required to get blood test to check that at least every 3 months until I'm not on that medication anymore. But also because of some medical practice things and some staff not being around anymore, yeah, there's been issues with trying to get blood tests with somebody who I trust. And I'm gonna have to take some risks with either some people I've seen before who either don't really do blood tests that often or didn't succeed the time I saw them, or it's a new member of staff, which is scary for somebody who has a lot of issues getting blood tests. Yay!
Fuck my life.
And that's another thing we don't really have a lot of research about is like scar tissue relating to getting lots of blood tests or cannulation done. Like the best I can find is massaging that area, maybe with certain kinds of oil. Some people say vitamin A or E, I think, and then some people have said castor oil. I've seen a lot of other things too, but I would rather not do that because it makes me squeamish because I don't like blood tests anyway. I've always been a bit squeamish with the blood tests. I don't want to touch where my veins are that I get stabbed for blood tests, you know? Like, I've had some weird skin reactions to my Fitbit on this wrist recently that has led to skin peeling, and as I was trying to sort of like moisturize or exfoliate it, if I could feel the tendons in my wrist, it makes me want to die. I want to die. So I don't want to massage my inner elbow. I don't. And then I would like to try and book an appointment with my GP. I have two things in mind. One, I'm definitely very concrete on requesting. I might be able to do that one over the phone instead, which will help because he is now in like, he's based a bit further away, and it's a bit of I've never been there. I don't want to drive there. It's like half an hour away now, whereas he was previously like 10 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna have to make my hips hurt. Hips, lower back, whatever it is. I have no idea. Nobody tells me. Nobody tells me the truth. Hello? Am I okay? No, I'm not. I'm not okay. Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of issues with me trying to get to that appointment to see him. I'll probably have to do that at some point, which is fine. It's just less likely, hopefully, it's less necessary for me to see him in person. The one that I'm definitely quite solid on getting a referral for is for, I think technically it's called immunology, but I think locally we just call it allergy. I have talked about this before. I've made a few videos on like skincare products because I have so many issues finding skincare products that don't set my face off, basically. And it's just kind of, oh, ow, 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 ow. No, this is all still bad, 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 bad. Fuck my life, my guy. I have had a lot of allergy issues that have not many useful or helpful treatments that work. So I'm on like a daily antihistamine. It does nothing. It doesn't do anything. And I'm just basically tired of it. I've shared a lot of photos of my face going up for God knows what reason. I don't know if it's like rosacea. I don't know if it's an allergy or MCAS. I don't know if it's just an EDS thing or just a POTS thing or dysautonomia, or even if it might have a link to ME. But either way, I need a specialist to look at the photos and try to do something, because I've never been to, again, this is the thing, never been to any of these people. A lot of the time I've never seen a lot of these professionals because nobody mentions it to me. They just kind of go, oh, that looks sore. Have you tried this? And it's like, yeah, and it doesn't work. Now what? And oh, just manage it at home. So yeah, I think currently that is taking precedent in my wanting an appointment with my GP. The other thing I want to look into a bit more, like, this is the thing, I feel like I can't really research the allergy thing, so I need to see somebody to see if we can do some tests to either confirm that it is or is not a bunch of things. And then some stuff I'm like, I think it's this thing, but I need to do more research to try and like decide if I think it's worth pursuing. So that's what this other thing is I'm not mentioning. I've been talking to a few of my friends about it who have this condition. I've seen a few people posting really long, detailed and thought out posts about their experiences with this condition, along with like resources of research that has been done on this condition. And it's all ringing a little bit too true, a little bit too close to home. It's frustrating because that was one of the first conditions I was attempting to try and get a diagnosis for, but because of my autoimmune problems fucking up all my blood test results, we kind of gave up and I got slapped with a different diagnosis in the end anyway. But hopefully, because God, how long ago was that? 2016? So that's like 7 years ago. probably 8 by the time I see anybody about it, or 10. But I'm hoping in that time span there's been enough research that would be useful for me to read and bring to somebody, or that somebody would just know more and believe me. Because at the time, that condition was only diagnosed by confirming it was nothing else, which is apparently now not the case. Yeah, one study I read showed that there's actually certain things they look for that are enough to be the diagnosis, and it's not just a make sure it's nothing else kind of energy. Because like most people I know with this condition have other conditions as well, and I think that it would be a possibly useful missing piece of this whole thing going on with my well-being. Because yeah, once it was said no, you couldn't have that, I kind of stopped really looking into it, and now I just have a lot of friends with it who talk about their experiences. I'm like, And yeah, reading some papers recently has made me think it's a good time to start looking at that again. It's very overwhelming because there's definitely a lot of health conditions I feel like have not been appropriately diagnosed, not been appropriately treated. Some of it's just down to the doctors don't really know enough to even suggest the right things. You know, I don't really blame them for not knowing those things, especially when it's a GP. But yeah, it's just kind of tiring trying to do all this stuff. Like, trying to get the right healthcare you need is almost like politics in a way. You have to think about how you're coming across to your audience, who are basically every doctor on your team. And if one of them's not doing what they should be doing, and you tell somebody else either on that team or in a different team, you could be setting yourself up for a lot of issues. And that's also why I have so much admin work to do, because I just don't trust anybody to actually do those things that need to be done, either because they don't really believe me or don't think it's that important or pressing, or just because they don't think it's their job. But yeah, first of all, being brushed off as like everybody feels like that, so there now be 5 or more diagnoses in, including really rare conditions, and now being brushed off as you probably won't be diagnosed with that because you have all these other conditions, when it's a lot of the time a very well-known fact that a lot of these conditions are comorbidities of each other. Because I mean, if we go with EDS, comorbidity with POTS or dysautonomia generally, as well as MCAS, which is an allergy one, as well as gastro issues, which could be anything from just IBS to things like Crohn's disease, as well as vascular issues, which are very similar to my Takayasu's. And also similar to fibromyalgia with the all-over pain, the other symptoms that are associated with fibromyalgia, as well as ME, with like post-exertional malaise and just such extreme fatigue. And obviously I'm sure there's a lot more to that. That's a condition I don't know a whole lot about. And sort of same for fibro. I kind of stopped really like looking into it after like a few years of being diagnosed. At least when you have the diagnosis, they kind of do some things, but it does also mean a lot of other things are brushed off because you have fibromyalgia. It's really strange because, yeah, sometimes bringing up fibromyalgia to some doctors, they're like, oh my goodness, yes, of course it is. Thank you so much for specifying that. Yes, that makes so much sense. We'll do this and this. And then other doctors, they're like...
And that means that whatever you're coming to me with is probably just fibromyalgia, so fuck off.
And I'm sure that's probably a similar case for a lot of other conditions too. But yeah, I just generally think it's very frustrating, and I feel that that's been a lot of my experience with fibro. Yeah, because I was diagnosed with fibro after hypermobility syndrome, but before Crohn's disease, before Takayasu's, before any of my migraine issues, before ADHD, before autism. And they have a lot of overlapping symptoms, my guy. And that's just generally the issue of trying to diagnose any condition, is that a lot of medical conditions do overlap a lot with each other, and sometimes, you know, a lot of them are like full body affecting, and they just have a randomly assigned specialist. So like rheumatology is supposed to be the specialist for like EDS, but in the UK they don't seem to want to have anything to do with us anymore. But also the other things that come along with that include things like neurology, cardiology, gastro, possibly other ones that I can't even think of right now. Like, I understand why separating into specialisms is helpful, but there's so many reasons why it stops being helpful when there are so many people with chronic illnesses that are like full system dysfunctions, especially when your teams don't always talk to each other very well. Who are you supposed to go to with those issues? So yeah, this took a little bit of a weird ending. That wasn't planned. I was just planning on telling you what the fuck's going on. But yeah, it's just been a time, TM. I'm not excited for all of these appointments coming up. I've got a lot of admin to do, which means I'm probably going to have to cancel certain stuff that I need or want to do, like possibly work-related things, friend-related things, because I just don't know if I'm going to have the capacity. I really don't feel that well today. I think the food on holiday was very difficult for me to even find anything to eat. That I think sometimes I ate things that I probably shouldn't have eaten, but I wouldn't have known. So I, have been not very well on holiday, but also literally as soon as I came back. So I feel like I'm already starting off on a bit of a, I don't know whether I want to use the word flare up, but like, I do feel like I've taken a few steps back with my well-being from doing the travelling and stuff. But I'm glad I went. If you would like me to talk about like my little holiday, let me know. Maybe I'll do that as next week's video. But yeah, I probably will have to do some less time-consuming videos again for a while because of all these appointments. So we'll see which ones I do. I literally have no idea right now. I can't even think about it. I spent a good couple of hours earlier making sure I had all of my appointments written out on my like weekly notepad calendar thing, as well as all in my phone calendar. And now I have to sort of write up what things I need to do for each thing and write up my questions for each person as well, which is a lot of work. And like, I just need to rest for a while. Pacing. Yeah, it's tiring. Although, to be fair, like, I have not worn makeup in over a week. I did my eyebrows today for the video, and like, low-key, best eyebrows I've done in a while. A lot easier than they have been. So yeah, that's my current update of what's coming up for me, what I've been already dealing with when it comes to medical shit. Yeah. As well as obviously the issues when it comes to the adult social care stuff too, that God knows how long I'm going to be waiting to hear about that. But yeah, I just wanted to fill you in with what's going on, let you know what's going on. I'm sure some of you will probably like relate to having these issues of 1,000,001 appointments suddenly in one go and having to try and keep it all like straight in your brain, as well as trying to work out what condition is causing what symptom, who to then speak to, to then ask to speak to somebody else, and like, yeah, just a little bit of like the reality of chronic illness. You don't hear from anyone for fucking months, and then suddenly everybody wants you, and you're like, wow, can you wait? Not on my birthday, actually. Thank you very much. Fuck off. Like, they can see my birthday. Why are they trying to book me in? But no, go away. Bye. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video or any other videos that I have on my channel. Please give a little bit more love to my House MD Takayasu's, the Takayasu, oh my god. Please give a little bit more love to my House MD Takayasu's video. It's been a little bit low on views, and I think it's because House is not a trending media topic and not many people know about Takayasu's. Like I said in the video, about 3,000 of us in the world. So I would appreciate a little bit more love on that video, please. Thank you. Yeah, that's it, I guess. I'll see you next week. Bye.